You're listening to BQN. Assimilate the audio.
Welcome, listeners, to another episode of All Good Things, a Star Trek Universe podcast here on BQN and the Fandom Podcast Network. I'm your host, Kelvin, and with me today, I've got Kristin, Amy, and Christos. Full house. Hello. Amy, let's come to you first. How are you? How's your weekend been?
It has been a fabulous Trek weekend. Listeners, if you aren't on our Discord server, please go check it out. I've sent some pictures, had so much fun. Matt Harker and Rhea Papagiorgio came into town. We had a wonderful screening at a movie screen for the Star Trek Academy series premiere. It was so much fun, you guys. The theater held 58 seats and we had 55 attend. It was almost sold out.
Wow.
All the local Trekkies came out. It was just so much fun.
Now, the entrepreneur in me now is thinking, so how much did it cost to hire the venue and how much did you sell each seat for? Did the organizers make any money?
So my friend knows the theater owner, got us in for free and gave us a free small bag of popcorn and a drink. And they just asked us to buy additional concessions. So I shared some wine with some friends, ordered a bottle of wine, lovely Chardonnay. And then I bought some peanut M&Ms because that's my go-to theater snack. So enough about me. Christos, how are you doing?
I'm good. I feel like I bounced back. I had in fact, I wasn't on last week's episode because I had a very, very early morning flight for a business trip. And that business trip was a turn and burn to Houston. So between getting up super early for the airports and time zone jumps and just, late dinners and everything, I was pretty wrecked most of the week. So I feel like I'm kind of finally myself again and back into my gym schedule and, kind of getting excited. I feel like suddenly Star Trek's back in a lot of different ways, and whether we're talking about Starfleet Academy, which I'm sure we'll talk about soon, and the 60th anniversary, and there's been a lot of chatter about STLV again already, and it's just and a new Voyager video game is finally like a month away, and out of nowhere, like they kind of dropped that random gameplay about 3 or 4 months ago, and then the whole thing went quiet. So we're like February 18th, I think, is that Voyager Across the Unknown?
I got confused and thought it was January 18th, and I was really excited this morning thinking, yay, it's Voyager game day, and now I'm a month early.
The one thing I didn't get to do yet, because I have a Mac for my PC, so I'm waiting. It's not going to be on Mac, but I do have a PS5, and so when that initial gameplay came out, it was only for a PC, and now the demo is out for PS5. You can start. I haven't. That came out a few days ago, and I haven't even had a chance to try that yet because it's been such a busy week.
Brilliant. And Kristin, my love, it's been a few weeks. How are you?
I'm here.
Yay!
Yay! No, it's been a very challenging year thus far for my family. My mother-in-law fell very ill a couple weeks ago, and we were at the point where the doctors were telling us to prepare ourselves.
Oh no.
So it was a very touch and go for a while. It was very, if you're having symptoms, please don't ignore them, because the trauma that puts the people who love you through is very hard to get over. So we are coming out the other side now. But yeah, 2026 has been not my favorite thus far.
Oh, well, we're all sending our love to you and Justin.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah, it's really been a testament to how families can come together to support each other during these times. But yeah, it's I'm glad that I'm feeling in the headspace to get back to things that I love and enjoy. So here I am.
She's going to be talking a bit of DS9 with us.
How could she not be here for that?
Right? And Kelvin, how about yourself? What have you been up to?
I've been really good. I said to Amy last week, the new year has brought like a new hobby and interest kind of side of me of just the side hustle, trying to make money. So I've been obsessively selling old clothes on Vinted, which is like an auction app. And I've started kind of uploading artwork into Redbubble to sell t-shirts, mugs, that kind of thing. So it's just cool. You can just play on your phone and just create images and edit and throw it online. Someone might spend $25 on a t-shirt and you get a $5. So it's like free money. I love it. Woo!
Nice passive income.
Yeah.
I hear there's quite the market for used knickers out there too.
Yeah, I think that's like the dark web. All in the rules, it says you're not allowed to sell used underwear, but swimwear is a loophole.
Right.
Gets all the favorites. Anyway, I'm going so far off topic.
Sometimes the human race concerns me.
Yeah. I think someone's trying to get our attention, everybody.
You! Here! Over here! Now!
What?
Yay! Kristin looks very confused. This
is.
is our new version of the old Escape Pod. Now that we have new Trek, we are going to spend a couple of minutes while we have Starfleet Academy on air. We're not doing a full episode review. We will leave that to the other shows on the network, but we are just going to take a little bit of time to share our initial thoughts and what we liked. So, Amy, you had it on the big screen, the full experience. Tell us about your premiere of Starfleet Academy experience.
Well, I was a tiny bit hesitant going in because this is a show about a school. I have been a teacher and in education for 25 years, a little hesitancy on how media portrays this chosen career that I love so much. So I don't watch a lot of school shows because they just get it so wrong and it annoys the crap out of me. So with that said, seeing how they balance the school and that the school is on a ship, perfect. I didn't even see that coming. I thought the school was going to be an actual like place on ground, not a ship going through. Love the hands-on. This is like your internship getting ready right before to graduate and go in. I all board for that. The sitting in the captain's chair and the lackadaisical flimsy I'm gonna walk on bare feet and sit on every surface. Okay, I get that you're being comfortable and this is your personality, but sitting in the captain's chair like that, for me, respect the chair. Do whatever else, but like when Captain Angel sat on it, that's a disrespect. So that's where I equate that from. And then my last wondering, because we know that Discovery is the Burnham show, is this the Caleb show? Because every character was in relationship to how does this affect Caleb? His roommate, are they going to be friends? And that's all we know about the roommate. So I'm a little worried, concerned, but overall, absolutely enjoyed it. Very looking forward to next week's episode.
Brilliant. And how about you, Christos?
Well, first off, I loved it, which I wasn't expecting to love it. So that's always good. I think I did know the ship was also the Academy coming into it. There's quite a few things I really loved about it. First off, I really loved Rufus Wainwright on the soundtrack. He's one of my favorite singers. I just saw him in San Diego like a month ago, and his portrayal of that, or his rendition of San Francisco, to have that kind of pull in kind of a modern day song into Star Trek. It's only been done a few times. And, of course, we have Faith of the Heart. So to have it kind of maybe done a little bit better was great. And that's kind of like outside it all. But FYI, the season 1 soundtrack is already available on digital for those of you who may not know that. I think my favorite character, and I'm looking at the notes, was probably yours too, Kelvin. Laura Thok. I just like the Jem'Hadar Klingon first officer. I'm all about her. I'm like, she's like my brand of comedy, even though she's not supposed to be funny. That Gina, is it Gina Gershwin?
Oh,
That plays her?
Yashir.
Gashir. Oh, I did not know of her before this, and I've been kind of going down a little bit of a rabbit hole of learning more about her. And I'm just enjoying watching her do the promo circuits and stuff. She's really out there, defending Star Trek as being woke and all the right ways. Yeah, I was, and the other aspect I think was was really afraid of it being a little bit of, young adult, and it is at times a little bit, but in the grand scheme of things, Star Trek needs to grow, it needs to expand, it needs a new audience. I think there's enough in there for us oldsters who loved it for 30, 40 years. But there's plenty of stuff in there for an entry point for new people. In fact, I've already been recommending the show to a few of my friends who always give me the Star Trek, I don't even know where to start. I'm like, well, there's this brand new show out right now. In fact, there's this guy I've been kind of talking to for a while. He actually made the point to watch the show so he could talk to me about it.
He loves you.
I know what I said. I was like, oh, wow, that's commitment. He's trying to watch Star Trek so he can talk to me.
Yeah.
Have you seen it yet, Kristin?
Yes.
What did you think?
I enjoyed it greatly. And all the poo-pooers out there, y'all gotta stop, because this has happened with every stinking iteration of Star Trek ever. So yeah. Sometimes I love this fandom, and sometimes this fandom needs to get out and touch some grass. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yep.
Okay.
Any favorite bits?
I freaking love the cadet Sam.
Oh, the hologram.
When she says, people keep telling me to chill and that I'm a lot. I was like, oh, you're my spirit hologram. Because same girl, same. I would say, I think at this point, the only thing that I don't like, I also like how episode 2 ended with the 3 guys just like chilling and relaxing. And then the brothers like, we should build a fort. And that was the last thing he said. I enjoyed the silliness and I don't know, because you're going to see a lot of trauma, right? There's going to be a lot that's going to happen to these kids, and I feel for them. But that's what TV's about, and life. But I really enjoyed the way they sort of wrap things up. I'm going to say, because again, this is always my critique on new Trek, is what is theme song going to be like? And I don't think I'm a huge fan of the theme song.
It's got hints of, you can tell it's Jeff Russo. It's got little hints of Picard in it.
A little bit, but I don't know. It just wasn't quite my thing, but maybe because I'm sitting here thinking what they should have done was taken the Saved by the Bell theme song and just changed all the lyrics, right? Like, what was I thinking? Like, if Jet Reno pops a test and know I'm in a mess and my target all my homework last night, right? It works.
Oh, wow.
My gosh, wow.
I'm having some flashbacks.
There's a parody video with your name on it. Get it recorded, get it on YouTube.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Done.
Quick, because before we put this out there and somebody else takes your idea.
Yes.
TM.
Trademark.
Yeah. Anyway, that was the
it.
only thing that I was not a fan of, but you can now skip the intro. So there's a button for that. But otherwise, I don't know. I enjoy the quirky little things, but Amy, I agree with you. You do not walk around in public spaces without shoes. It is a health and safety risk for you and others. It is gross.
So you got to remember, she's kind of like a Lanthanite hippie, and you have to kind of accept
doesn't matter.
that.
Put on some flip-flops.
I love that she's a little bit like Pelia because they're both. Well, I mean, she's only half Lanthanite, but there's a little bit there, and she's kind of earthy. That's why she's been out hanging out on Bajor, doing her thing. So I think they're like you're trying to get her back to work after she retired. You're gonna have to like back off and let her do things a little her way, because she's reluctant to be there. She's doing you a favor, so to speak. So you gotta tolerate a little bit.
Well, if she steps on something and gets tetanus, then she has nobody to blame but herself.
Well, she's got the doctor for that.
Oh, that's my other thing. I don't care what happened in the show. Having Rob Picardo on my screen singing opera again.
Oh, that was a really nice input. Yeah.
It filled my soul.
When it first started, I was afraid it was going to be a little cringy and a little fan servicey. Like, oh, here we go again. It's only the second episode, and we're deploying that in. But I actually liked how it was. It was fine. It was very well balanced. Amy, how did you feel? Did you get like Deanna Troi vibes at all from our Beta Z gal?
The best bringing in the Beta Z storyline. Absolutely loved it. Which one are you talking about?
The young girl, the one I forget her name. She ends up joining the War College at the end of the second episode. The one in the romance.
Terima.
Yeah. I don't know any name except Caleb. So talk to me next week. I'm going to do a rewatch. I haven't done a rewatch. But Kelvin, how did you like it?
I loved it. Yeah, it's so weird seeing all the haters online. I think that's just the default setting. I think they had those things typed out, ready to send and schedule before they even sent it. So as I said last week, the more respectful opinions who had got the screeners, they were right, in my opinion. I only watched episode 1 on Thursday evening, mainly because it was The Traitors were on, and I need to watch that live. So we watched episode 2 on Friday, and I'm so glad I did that, because it allowed the pilot to stand alone as an experience. And then episode 2 is so different in tone. The character development in that, there was no peril. It was like, I mean, it's a little bit like this week's episode of what we're reviewing. There's no real danger. It's just characters. Loved it. The first thing I loved is the new 60th anniversary ident at the beginning with all the hero ships.
So good.
I loved it too.
Goosebumps.
Everyone's complaining that the Cerritos is not in that, though.
Well, someone also pointed out that Voyager's nacelles are not in the warp position; they're in the flat one, and now I can't unsee that. But, however, loved it.
I think sometimes the attention to detail the fandom has is its own worst enemy. Just be happy. Yeah. We've been around for 60 years. Okay. Also, apparently this year is Disney's 70th. And I don't know why that shocked me that Trek is only 10 years younger than Disney. I thought Disney was over 100 years old.
Right, Kristin, I am going to shock you now. So yesterday, randomly on TV, flicked over and Trials and Tribulations were on. So, you got to watch it. James just said, so this episode was from the 30th anniversary. So that was 50% ago. We've had double that amount of Star Trek since that.
I remember.
I was a little sick in my mouth. I felt so old.
I remember in 1991 getting this really basic computer game, Star Trek: The 25th Anniversary game, and thinking, "Oh, it's 25 years. That's such a long time." And TNG was only like 4 or 5 years old at that time. And and here we are. I have memories that go back to the 25th anniversary, and now here we are talking about the 60th. So,
yes, I am wearing my Deep Space Nine 25th anniversary shirt. If you're watching us on our Patreon.
Well, speaking of Deep Space Nine, I think it's time we got to the main event of the episode. So, Kristin, my love, would you like to tell the listeners what are we talking about today?
Absolutely. Today we will be discussing our series Addicted Part 4, and we will be looking at Deep Space Nine's Crossfire. So Odo's hidden feelings for Kira interfere with his duty to protect the Bajoran First Minister, who also happens to be attracted to Kira.
Why do you think we've introduced this episode in our Addicted series? I've gone down the love addiction angle. Do you think that's as valid when we've explored more I see serious subjects like drug addiction. Does this stack up? Amy, you're nodding. Is it valid?
I don't know, because is love an addiction? I'm wondering. That's sort of my question.
I mean, I have known people that love to be in love.
Yes.
And, and then, they kind of get and fall in love really fast, fall very hard. They're not very pragmatic, and then a month later, that person's gone. And then 2 months later, there's a new one. And I know those kind of people. I don't think that's Odo or Kira, though.
But the addiction is to the person. You become fixated on that person, that every move consumes you. So that is the addictive quality, not the feeling of being in love. Although that would be nice.
I will say Odo does kind of take on a little bit of a stalkery type of a vibe in this episode, and that can be a sign of
I was watching this episode, and Justin's like, do something else, and I'm like, you know what this episode should have been called was Odo the Incel. Because his behavior in this episode was icky. And he was blaming everybody else for the result of his inaction,
which is an addiction.
Yeah,
what? Yeah,
addicts do.
Addict do. Yeah.
Someone else's fault.
You know what I was thinking?
The idea of being addicted to love, I mean, it can technically be biologically supported, because when you have the release of dopamine, serotonin, and oxytocin, which are the love chemicals, your body is addicted to that high that you get from being in love.
Does anyone
especially like new and exciting love? Sorry, Christos.
No. I was gonna say you just made me think of something, Kristin. Like, have you ever seen the movie The Mirror Has Two Faces? It's Barbara Streisand and Pierce Brosnan. It's one of my favorite movies, actually. And at the end of the movie, she's talking about, or in the beginning of the movie, she's giving this big speech on love and literature, and to a whole college, class. And at the end of the day, she's like, why do we put up with it? Because all the, love always ends up, hurting in the end, and blah, blah, blah. Because she goes, why do we put up with it? Because in the end, it feels effing great. And you know what I mean? And I was like, that's what Kristin just made me think of. Yeah. I will give a shout out to DS9. I think it's a season 4 episode, right? This episode, it's low stakes. It's no action. I mean, except for the one little bit in that turbo lift scene. It's all dialogue. It's all drama. And it's the fact that was allowed to happen in the 90s, and just let these relationships have that breathing room that you have in here, because there's quite a few relationships happening. And I think that's what we're going to go through here in topic 1. But the fact that it was even allowed to happen, and it's like, oh, we don't have to make this pew pew episode. It's not a pew pew episode at all. It's literally high drama, romance a little bit.
Well, let's start off with looking at unrequited love. So it's been established for over a season by this point that Odo loves Kira. The episode explores Odo's feelings of jealousy, inadequacy, as he watches her fall for Shakar. So how do you feel about where Odo is in this episode in relation to the romance or the character arc overall with Kira? We know how it all ends up. We know they get together. We know he leaves her and goes to the Great Link. But when you reflect on this particular part, where does it strike you? Is it a favorite point in the development of their relationship? Is it a low point? Kristin, you're shaking your head.
I always found this to be weird. I don't know why. I don't know why the writers ever tried to make it look like this would be a good couple. I never liked the fact that Odo and Kira got together, even if it was just for a temporary amount of time. I'm glad he went to the link and left Kira. Maybe I always hoped that she was going to end up long term with Shakar. I thought that they had their on-screen chemistry was like, I need to crack a window. It's getting steamy in here. I was upset when they made them break up, but no, I never liked the Odo Kiro thing.
I will second that. I will second
Oh,
that.
see you.
No, and I think Nana Visitors also gone on record as saying that, that was no one was really a big fan of it. It was like the writers forced it, and it was a thing. Like I would, it's not my thing.
They have like almost a father-daughter feel to me. So I think that's where the ick comes in.
The whole thing feels very forced.
Yeah. It's here's a female character. What do we do with her? Oh, we've got to marry her off. We've got to put her with the guy. This is, I mean, full disclosure, this is actually my favorite Odo episode of all of Deep Space Nine, because of how I felt as a teenager watching this episode. I was constantly in love with people and never told them because I was in the closet. But the way it's played, the agony of Odo's unrequited love is so much more powerful than the cheesy. I can pull in faces. I can't get the words out. Odo and Kira being together. Right. So this is my favorite Odo episode. My least favorite Odo episode is His Way, when they get together, the Vic Fontaine episode. Hate it. So I am not a Odo and Kira stan either. Amy, is it? Are we all four agreed, or do you love this couple?
No, I don't particularly love this couple. So we are all in agreement. Has that really ever happened before?
No. We are not Odo and Kira shippers.
No.
So we see some rather un-Odo-like behavior in this episode. That kind of constant need to get approval from Kira, how those little random acts of kindness, like where he's putting the coffee out and he knows how she likes things and the delight it brings to him. What did you make of that when you see that and compare it to Odo's gruff, standoffish? Or have you ever gone through that yourself? Have you ever had moments where everything you do, you just want to provoke this reaction from someone you're in love with, you're obsessed with in secret? Christos, you're nodding.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, I think what's totally relatable about this episode is that I think we've all been there at one point, right? We've all had a crush on somebody, like somebody. And in this case, I would even say I'm old enough to say, and it's far enough in my past that I've actually somebody I was close to as a friend, and I started developing feelings for them. And then how do you do I or don't I? How do you cross that line? How do you get in there? And you start to do these little things to, of endearment, to, help hopefully get them to notice that you're being sweet. And that's change that idea that love is changing Odo and making him act outside of his normal side, like to your point. So yeah, I think it's totally believable that this aspect of that's what makes it a good episode. I think is it's very relatable. Amy, go ahead. I know you.
Yeah, I completely agree. And that this episode slows time down to each of the little phases of, oh, she likes what I did. How can I do more? And like to usually, as you said, some people just zoom through it and then next month they're done. But it's like this episode really slows it down. Because yeah, if you're in a friendship and it's just, I don't know, a smallest tiny little click in your brain where it's like, oh, they liked what I did. Oh, I could do this and they're going to see me more, and then try and very slowly, Odo's moving very slowly of, well, can I do something that she appreciates? Can that turn around? And it's just this beginning that I absolutely love, where he's so loves that she enjoys the coffee that he made. That was his face. Like, does she hanging on her every little eyebrow raise, a little smile. It's so.
And toward the end of the episode, when she comes to visit him and she had been in Shakar's and already had the coffee, how crushed he was when she didn't take the coffee. I mean, they literally used that two different ways to show pleasure and heartbreak.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so beautiful, this episode. It is like there are no quantum torpedoes in sight. We're talking about someone being upset because she didn't drink the coffee. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Flipping it around to Kira, I was watching the episode thinking, is she really that blind? Does she, is she so, I don't want to say self-obsessed because I love Kira, but does she not read these signals of her friend? What's missing? Because we know Kira is smart. We know she sees a lot. Kristin, you've got your hand up there.
I've got my hand up because I have a lot to say about this.
Right.
Just because a man is nice to a woman does not mean she has to sleep with him. The end. There are so many thoughts that I'm the nice guy. Why doesn't she like me? Just because you're nice does not mean she has to like you. Does not mean she has to move into a relationship with you. A friendship is a relationship. It has ship at the end. So the fact that he gets mad and pissy in this episode because she does not give back what he thinks should happen because he brought her coffee is ridiculous. It's actually kind of enraging from because Amy, this has been our life. This is what has been expected of us our entire lives. Is if a man is nice to you, you have to repay him with whatever. No. Sometimes a coffee is just a coffee.
Yeah, I'm going to jump in here, Kristin, because I have a lot to say too. She's not blind. She recognizes the friendship, but doesn't return the feelings. She's extremely nice, obviously trusts him, confides in him, and he's warping it. Now, if he wants to talk about it and saying to any person in a friendship that might go a different way, then bring it up. I am very happy to discuss relationships. I love talking about it. Counselor Nelson in the house. So if a man starts, or if someone who's interested in me doesn't say it, then yes, I'm in the friend zone. And if I don't want to be in the friend zone, then I will bring it up because maybe I want to do something. I'm not going to sit and be an Odo like, it's so difficult.
This is one thing. I mean, albeit I have not had to deal with telling somebody I like them as more than a friend, blah, 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 in now, as of January 2026, 20 years, because I met Justin 20 years ago this month.
Oh,
congrats.
Congratulations.
Gone by really fast. But in all my other relationships, I always would jump straight to the point, and I would let the guy know, hey, this is what I'm looking for. You interested?
Yeah.
And if they said, yeah, great, let's see where this goes. And if they're like, oh, I'm not interested, great. Now I can wrap up this and not act like a douche.
You're clearly a much braver person than me, because I've been in this position so many times, and that fear of rejection or the fear of ruining a friendship would kind of force you into this, pursuing them without being direct and pursuing them, to kind of say, right, let's sit down. The nature of my feelings have changed in this relationship and I'd like to transition to romance. Is that all right with you? No, I could not do that. This is not a job interview situation. I'm terrified of this person not being in my orbit, of not wanting anything to do with you, of showing my cards. In the case of when I was young, it was often with a straight man. Clearly that wouldn't have computed, that my feelings would not have been reciprocated. So I have been Odo in this episode. I used food as the love language of showing how much someone cares to me by cooking for them constantly and doing these little acts of kindness. And it's nothing to do with them. It's totally on the person for not having the courage to say it. But that is the heartbreaking part of it. Your chief of security, who's a vulnerable shapeshifter, is terrified of losing Kira.
Yeah, I would say I agree with all of that. And I feel like that's where, the Quark element comes into this episode, right? Quark actually playing the best friend, even though he's let's just say they are kind of they're friends. They always were. And especially, but that nod that where Quark, is actually like, in a way, he's a little funny at times, but the same way, he really is trying to help Odo through this whole thing. And it's like you have two choices. You've got to tell her how you feel, or you need to suck it up and move on. And that is how you handle the situation, and in the end, he chooses to suck it up and move on, I guess. But, which,
Yeah.
Probably not the healthy way to handle it.
No, I do want to put a caveat on all of this, Kelvin and Christos, because I don't want to negate your very real lived experience with this. That what I think Amy and I are talking about with our experiences, we have the privilege of having the heteronormative experience of relationships, right? Where a lot of the difficulties and nuances of coming out and trying to navigate what I'm not even going to try to imagine is a very difficult, and oh my gosh, I can't even, the bravery that it takes to live your authentic self in this day and age is commendable. So I think that there is a caveat here that this is very much, my feedback on this is very much based on the fact that it's the heteronormative undertow is very real in this situation.
Good point.
I completely get that. And that's why I find it so interesting hearing your point of view, because you must have had that voice in your head saying, this guy that I'm being friendly with, who's been really nice, is it authentic? So, what I was kind of saying is, do you think Kira's having that internal dialogue of, is he trying something on here, or is it completely, she's not even she's just absorbed in the friendship and completely oblivious.
I like that she doesn't think that just because a guy is nice to her, she has to jump straight to a romantic relationship, that you can have just
platonic
friendships. And people just seem to think that those are like the worst things in the world. No, they're not. They're fabulous.
Yeah. There's the coffee, and then there was like the whole belt and the uniform thing, right? And it's like, come on, Kira. She's like literally going out of his way to make you happy. I mean, I feel like there was a little bit. That would probably be one of the, if I had a regeneration for this, it would be that she wouldn't have been so oblivious to Odo's feelings, because it was pretty obvious.
But
does she? Is it oblivious, or is it controlled friendship? Because being in a
because I know what you mean, Amy, and this is why I think in this particular case, because toward the end of the episode, when Odo comes to see her and she's in her nightgown and she's, I'm in love, if she was aware of the fact that he had feelings for her and was just kind of, to your point, controlling it, I think she would have spared his feelings and not saying like, oh my God, he just left and we did our thing and I think I'm in love.
Wait, though. I have done this with friends who I believe are interested in me, specifically talking about other men to make sure, do you understand that you are a friend to me? So I have used that as a tool to sort of ensure that, because does that
pulling the levers? I love it.
No, I love it. See, it's the other side of the coin that is not in where I see. So yeah, I love it.
I'm sorry. So they're standing there, and he brings her coffee on Tuesdays. Okay. He takes her fashion advice. Okay.
Immediately.
Well, he has the ability to do that. What about those two things? Like, if you isolate those two things, coffee and a belt.
Yeah.
What does that mean about moving this relationship to the next step? He still has not verbalized, I have feelings for you that are beyond friendship. What are your thoughts on this? All he ever did was bring her coffee and put on a belt. Those are inconsequential action.
Very friend zone action.
There's nothing romantic about either of them.
I'm having like the conversation that didn't happen is the conversation that happened at the end of Attached with Beverly and Jean-Luc. Like, yes, very much. he wants more, and she rebuffs him.
But there are so
Good.
many.
Amy's
episodes
Beverly.
to go
Amy's
to
Beverly
Vera.
in this case. We got her.
There's so many to move this relationship on when you
Yeah.
go to like Children of Time, when you see future Odo and
Yeah.
all of that, and then the long talk at Dax's hen nights when they're in the wardrobe.
Yeah.
It's but this episode is such a point in time. Can I ask the question of, did anyone understand the whole, what I've called the torture of Odo wanting to stand guard outside of the quarters while she's on the dates with Shakar? Did anyone query, why would you do that? Has anyone done anything like that before? Because again, this is something, I've done that. I've done that a lot.
Yeah, I've done that a lot too. Torture myself.
Mhm.
Just the smallest, tiniest of, oh, maybe they'll look at my direction and, recognize me or see me, even though they're on this date or, whatever environment it is. Like trying to insert yourself, like it's just a very last desperate grasp at any straw to just be around the other couple when you want to be with that person.
Because walking away is accepting what's happened. And he's
Yes.
not ready to accept what's happened.
Yeah, exactly.
And do you think when Odo did walk away at the end of the episode, was that just almost the reset button for the sake of the episode, or was there some epiphany, some big decision made?
I think Quark got through to him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Funny
Yeah.
to say that, but yeah.
I still see him throwing a temper tantrum and I'm not going to do it. And I'm going to just cut off all ties. But you can't because you're working with him.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, let's not even go down the work angle. That throws the whole
Thank you. Let's not do
layer
that.
of inappropriateness on it. I just see this as two people.
I
Sorry.
just want to chime in real quick before we move past the concept of the torture. It's almost like a non-physical form of self-harm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where he's putting himself in this situation. Maybe there's something like that he gets from being there, or the stubborn, I don't know what it is. Maybe he thinks that if other people see him acting so valiant, despite the fact that he's the one being injured, that he's going to get some sort of, I don't know.
I don't think it's about anyone else apart from him. The way I looked at it and the way my own behaviors mirrored that would be the consuming jealousy that races through your mind. You would rather know the details of exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
Because you're there. You know what time he went in. You know what time he came out of those rooms. You can hear noises of what's going on. So that your mind is not constructing horror that torments you. So that's what I saw with Odo, that he felt the need to kind of confront that pain rather than go home and have no idea what they're up to.
So
I've never understood that.
Creepy.
Yeah.
I'd rather
Technicality.
hear them skronking than not know if it actually happens. Ew.
Well, I've always thought this in Star Trek, like whether you're on a Federation ship or whether you're on DS9, how those doors aren't, soundproof. I just like, why? I would
Or
think
the floors.
Yeah. I would think all these years ahead of us that would not be a thing. I mean, there's been times on the Enterprise D, you hear Troy scream and Worf busts through. And it's like, you wouldn't hear that. No, come on. Anyways, that's just a little, that's a nitpicky.
Yeah, has close quarter living really not improved in that many hundreds of years?
I can see like Lana Troy with her, with her glass to the wall, trying to listen. You know what I mean?
I don't think Troy would need a glass to the wall. Worst Betazoid ever if you have to hold a glass to the wall.
Well, or then you have species like Ferengis who naturally have crazy good hearing. And so multifamily living must be torture for them. I'm sorry. Then we also get to the fact that Quark is purposefully trying to annoy Quark. Again, don't like that, but I really like Quark. I like Quark more than Odo. And I know that it's going to be a controversial take for certain people.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
we love Quark.
I love Quark, and I've been Quark.
Okay, let's move on to some assimilations and regenerations for this controversial episode. Who would like to start off with an assimilation? Christos.
I know she's only in one little scene at the very beginning of the episode, but I love the little nuance of Jenediah going to Kira and saying how, oh, you didn't tell me he was cute. Because for me, it's always been like the Kira and Jenediah relationship that they're playful. I mean, it's a little bit more like the mature Beverly and Troy later in later seasons. Like they've kind of got that sisterhood kindredship.
Yeah.
Like, like I really just one little line, and I'm like, yes, it's exactly what I would expect.
Top
Jenediah to
tier
say.
Dax. Love it.
Yep, it's Dax.
Yeah.
Amy?
Yeah, one thing funny, we're talking about love, and then in my assimilations, I really recognize the friendships that have been developing. Like Quark and Odo's friendship solidified right here and now. Like this episode, I don't know if it happened before, but for Quark to go in and insert himself because he recognizes Odo is completely flailing with his emotions, and it's very obvious to him. So I love the discussions, especially when Quark goes into his quarters. And then also like Odo and Worf, they totally were bonding over this idea of having control in your life and order and making sure that everything is consistent. I really appreciated the friendships that we get to see Odo develop in this relationship or in this episode.
Yeah.
I'm
Any
going to pick
assimilation for you, Kristin?
I'm going to pick up on what Amy just said about the friendship, specifically the one with Quark, because I agree. I think Quark was actually the level-headed point of reason in this episode, and we don't get to see that a lot because he has his ways. But I loved it because I feel that this episode primes it perfectly for my favorite Quark Odo episode, which comes the next season with Ascent. The Ascent.
Ooh.
When they're climbing that mountain and watching
yeah.
how they work together and what
Yes.
they do to protect and help each other, and Quark supporting Odo through his newfound reality of not having his shape-shifting abilities. And I think that the trust that is built here, we see further developed in that episode. And so that's why I enjoy that. But I think my assimilation of this episode in total is showing that how am I going to say this? It was very realistic to what life looks like. And if you see yourself reflected in this episode, it can help you maybe learn and grow on how to change your actions or inactions, and how sometimes it's worth having difficult conversations.
Yeah.
I would say, yeah, for sure. Another assimilation for me is, I guess we'll just say Worf. I like that, the idea that there's an assassination attempt going on. You would, on the first dime, you would think that, that's what this episode's about. There's an assassination attempt. It's not at all. And the fact that it kind of gets resolved off screen because Worf's just badass Worf and he takes care of business is great, because, and I just like it because that's not what this episode is about. It's not about the assassination attempt. It's literally about how that is kind of the need for protection is pushing these people closer together in a more uncomfortable way, and it just kind of gets solved on the outside. And and even though it would look like some people would think that like, oh, Worf's stealing Odo's job, Worf is very complimentary to Odo. Oh, your men are trained so well. You've done such a good job. It was so easy. I didn't even need to call you because your guys knew what to do. And so I just liked that was like just kind of happening in the background.
Yeah. The only thing.
Oh, sorry, Kristin.
No, you go ahead, Kelvin.
Can I just pick that up, because that's a little assimilation for me as well. But again, another mirror. And what I'm like with Worf. But actually, I see a moment here with Worf of his struggling to transition to his new role on Deep Space Nine. So he's hiding in the familiar. Yes, Sisko asked him to get involved in that investigation, but for him to kind of bolster in and like chief of security guy, going, it's not your job anymore. You've moved to somewhere else. Someone else holds that position. That's their duty. But he's kind of, I can do it better. And I've had a little bit of that myself. Actually, in my current workplace, I left, went working somewhere else, came back, and now someone else does my old job. And I have to constantly center myself to say, stop stepping on her toes. That's not your job anymore. People won't thank you for it. And it's hiding in plain sight because maybe I dislike my own day-to-day a little bit.
Yeah.
So I saw a lot of myself in Worf's actions in this episode as well as Odo.
Also, speaking of Worf, so I and you know what, he's micromanager extraordinaire. and we see that through the first little bit of his time on DS9, and I am myself very guilty of that, to the point now where my manager is telling me about the people that I manage. You're going to need to let them fail. But I mean, Odo wouldn't. Well, maybe Odo would have failed. He was doing a pretty poopy job in this episode with what.
Yeah, because in a perfect world, if Odo wasn't going through what he was going through, he would be so annoyed by Worf jumping into his business. But it's also just a mirror of how distracted Odo really was.
Yeah,
that Worf was doing all this, and Odo didn't care.
But what I really want to do though is with the new series that y'all thought up, which is amazing, and the comparison. It would be really cool to compare this episode with the one where Worf and Dax finally get together, and watching how Jenediah approaches that change in relationship, where Worf seemed a little oblivious and Jenediah's like, "Are you blind? Can you not really see that I like you?" And I was like, work girl, honesty. Just put it all out on the table and let the cards fall as they may. And what happened? It turned out positively because she was honest and open with her feelings. Unlike this episode.
Ooh,
great point.
Yeah. So, I don't know, is that a regeneration? Are you regenerating Odo's approach? I think we are. But has anyone got any specific regenerations for this episode, Amy?
Oh, well, I guess a regeneration, because I'm sending it back because it needs to have happened. Because Quark and Odo, Quark broke into Odo's quarters. Security, and he said, how cute, like maybe at the very end of the episode with the little, at the last minute, haha chuckle, like Odo should, be bringing Quark in, come to my office. You used a door override command, and that's that would have been cute and fun. So that's my regeneration.
Quick note on that. Has anyone noticed how many times Quark's illegal having of those codes has actually saved the station?
Mm-hmm.
That would be an interesting count to do on a rewatch. The number of times
it's like counting Voyager's torpedoes.
I was just going to say that, Kelvin. It's right up there with Voyager's torpedoes.
Any regenerations for you, Christos?
I think just like I was saying, I was, either A, Kira and Odo would have had the talk, or B, she would have been a little bit less oblivious, and maybe she wasn't oblivious, to Amy's point. I think that's an interpretation thing, and it's kind of funny. Maybe that's just more of a depending on male, female, whatever. Yeah. Anyways, that was minor stuff. I think it's a good episode overall. I didn't find too many faults with it.
My only regeneration, I don't know if it is, maybe it's just an observation, because it's actually quite brave. The rest of the cast were nowhere to be seen. As you said, Jenediah had one line, Miles and Julian weren't there, Cisco was only in a tiny bit, even Ops as a set wasn't in. Cisco's office was, but Ops was not.
I think Miles
was Quark and Odo and Kira, that was it.
Yeah, just Miles, Julian, and Jenediah, I think, are only there in their dress uniforms at the very beginning of the episode, and that's it. Even Cisco had very little to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So let's move on over to some trivia for the episode. Kristin, would you like to start us off?
I would love to. So the story for this episode originated from Robert Hewitt Wolf's idea to do a bodyguard type story, i.e. Kevin Costner, Whitney Houston, I Will Always Love You montage. The idea was for Odo to be the bodyguard, protecting Kira from something and falling in love with her. As things transpired, the audience found out about Odo's love for Kira in a completely different manner in the episode Heart of Stone. But nevertheless, the producers still liked Wolf's basic idea and they kept the story in mind.
Thank you.
And
Sorry
don't forget the end of The Bodyguard.
Sorry if you just heard a big bang. My Enterprise plaque just fell off the wall.
I was wondering what that was.
Is that an omen?
Yeah, someone's going to die.
Okay.
You broke your little ship.
Oh,
Sorry,
Christos,
Kristin.
you're my favorite human right now. That was amazing. Anyway, so if they wanted to do Bodyguard type, I mean, they don't end up together at the end of The Bodyguard.
well, and Odo and Kira don't either. So
There we go.
Overall,
Yeah.
In Renee Echevarria's original draft for this episode, towards the end, there is an explosion and Shakar and Kira are in the path of a fire. And Odo has to decide which one to protect. He loves Kira, but he's been assigned to guard Shakar. He chooses to save Shakar, and Kira is almost killed. Then at the end of the episode, we find out that Odo made his choice out of spite. According to Echevarria, the outcome just didn't work. So we massively overhauled the story and made it a much more gentle show. I was wondering, why is this episode called Crossfire? And now this explains it.
She's caught in the crossfire of the budding relationship.
Yeah, and I appreciate that they abandoned this because, like I was saying, the whole assassination attempt was really not what this episode's about. It's just that so that would have made it more actiony, pew pew.
Yeah.
And I think they kind of almost revisited that storyline idea in I'm guessing this would have been later. Yeah, it would have been no, this would have already happened. Lessons in Next Generation, where Picard has to decide who to save, and he's got his love interest there, but he has to do the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few or the one. Very difficult to do sometimes, especially when the few or the one are ones you have feelings for. So I feel like that is a bit of a trope, is these difficult decisions need to be made when you are in positions of power and you have to put your personal feelings aside. But the whole, he does it out of spite.
Yeah, that would have ruined the character.
Yeah,
ruined it. If they hadn't done that, but it was his sense of duty that chose him to make that decision, that I can accept. The fact that he thought that he was just going to punish Kira for not acting on feelings that she is not aware of. Incel behavior. I'm going to go back to it. Odo the incel.
Okay, so this episode was Alan Craker's all-time favorite Deep Space Nine show. When he was hired to direct The Assignment, he watched all of the episodes that were made prior to it, from Emissary onwards, with this one being his favorite up to that point.
Interesting. The plant which Odo destroys against the wall to begin his rampage was given to him in The Abandoned by Kira. And the pot was the bucket Odo had previously used when he regenerated into a liquid state, making the destruction of the plant and the pot highly symbolic.
Oh, wow. That is great trivia. Oh, that breaks my heart. Okay.
But also, he's acting like a child.
Well, also, I mean, how strong is Odo? Because he's like busting through, like the one thing that big metal thing that he just put his hand down and it broke in two. Like he broke metal just by hitting it. I mean, is he Data?
The sequence with Shakar's ship docking at Deep Space Nine was a reuse of the Wadi ship that first appeared in Move Along Home. Hey, I'm all about reduce, reuse, recycle, right? If you can save a buck here. It's funny though, like both of the episodes that the ship was used in, for me, are both a little cringe. So, yeah.
So the True Way receives its second of two mentions in this episode. It was previously referred to in the episode Our Man Bashir.
The main baddies of the episode, which nobody cares about. Not a big deal.
Yeah.
I just want to say one thing real quick that I found really pertinent to today's political milieu, if you will, is when Odo is watching the crowd and he's on such high alert that he sees that woman looking at Shakar and immediately assumes that her actions are negative, and then she picks the child up at the end just so that she can lift him to see, probably like this way. And it's just showing how when people with any sort of security level work are on that level of high alert, how dangerous it can be when they misinterpret people's actions and people's movements and all of that. And I don't know why that scene just really, really stuck with me. Is he was getting ready to act on this woman, this innocent woman, and then at the last minute he made the right decision, but that could have been a very negative outcome.
That scene could be right out of The Bodyguard.
Yes, that's
Yes.
Kevin Costner at the concert where she's doing
exactly.
Yeah, love it. Okay, so we are about to look at who did it better in our addiction series, and this is interesting because we've said these are different addictions. So previously covered in addiction, we have Deep Space Nine's The Wire, we have Next Generation's The Game, and we have Enterprise's Damage. So these are big episodes in themselves.
Refresh my memory on The Wire.
The Wire is Garak's addiction to his implant.
Yes.
It's like pain relief addiction, drug addiction. Yeah. Kristin, who did it best?
I'm gonna give everybody one guess as to what of these episodes is my favorite.
The Game.
You saucy little thing. No, The Wire. The way that AJ Robinson completely owned that episode, the level that he went to with his acting, goosebumps. Always goosebumps. So no, it'll take a lot to unseat The Wire for me in this series as well.
Christos, how about you?
Definitely not The Game. That would be my least favorite, I think, overall of these. I would probably say The Wire as well. Damage is way up there, though, for me, too. But The Wire.
Yeah, I'm actually going to choose Damage because I love the T'Pol and the Vulcan mind addiction type of thing. So I'm going with the Enterprise Damage.
I was between Damage and this episode. And I'm going to go this episode because it's so personal to me. Love addiction is a thing and it's painful and people experience withdrawal and just as much as narcotics. So it's an exploration of the human experience, this episode, and quite a painful one for some people. So yeah, I am giving it to Crossfire.
What's happening on BQN, you ask? We're not just a network. We're a universe of exploration, entertainment, and deep dives into the topics you love. Here's your star map to the sonic adventures awaiting you. Let's chart the Star Trek cosmos with all good things. Embark on a comprehensive journey through the entire Star Trek universe with the insightful crew of Amy, Christos, Kelvin, and Kristin. From classic to current, they cover it all. Galaxy class, engage! Stephen and Stefan pilots this Alpha Quadrant mission, meticulously covering all aspects of Star Trek: The Next Generation. Infinite diversity. Stay current with the newest Star Trek Frontiers alongside Chrissy and Thad. Union Federation. Whether your allegiance lies with Starfleet or the Planetary Union, Kyle, Kevin, Amy, and Haley offer a unified front, discussing both current Star Trek and the truly Trek at heart, the Orville. Crack open that book with Peter and the Trek Book Club podcast. Delve into a rich tapestry of Star Trek's beta canon. What's the tea, Bev? Christos spills the latest Trek news and fandom insights with an essential LGBTQIA+ perspective, complete with engaging guest interviews. Our visual voyages that you can find on YouTube as well as podcasts are Trek Masters. Think you're a Starfleet Academy graduate? Test your knowledge with Davey and MC's challenging Star Trek quiz show. And the View Screen. Tune in live on Sundays for your dose of a Trek-inspired talk show. Kelvin and Amy host new 8-week seasons each spring and fall. But beyond the final frontier, we have Bargain Bin Gamer. Davey and Mitch, your self-proclaimed gamer guides, lead you to digital treasures, unearthing and reviewing the most affordable video game gems. Cinema Z. Grab your metaphorical popcorn for Mark and Matt's cinematic deep dives, unearthing overlooked films that demand your attention. History with the Szilagyi. In order to never repeat it, tune in as Chrissy and Jason deliver bite-sized snippets of historical events from around the globe and transformational journeys. Host Lex Rosa explores what it means to embrace authenticity in the face of societal expectations. You can unlock deeper levels of engagement with our exclusive patron perks. The Hive Mind is where you can join our random script readings, live reaction shows, and roundtable discussions. You can also now watch All Good Things as an extended video edit and get a background look into the creation of a podcast. Also, check out our back catalog of It's Green and Amy's Math Moments. Stay connected to our ever-expanding galaxy of content by following BQN Podcasts on Instagram, Bluesky, YouTube, and Discord. We appreciate you choosing BQN to fill your auditory needs. Thank you for listening. Assimilate the audio.
Right, Christos, where are we going next week?
Oh, we are visiting our medical ethics series, part 11. Can you guys believe that? 11. I guess Star Trek is no short on these types of stories. We are, speaking of Enterprise, visiting Cogenitor.
We would love to hear what you thought of today's show, and there are many ways you can do this. You can join our Facebook group, the BQN Collective, or you can join our Discord server, or you can follow the network on Bluesky and Instagram at BQN Podcasts to continue the discussion over there. You can find the links and the invite code in the show notes. So, Amy, where can people find you when you are cavorting with first ministers, unbeknownst the real love of your life is just on the other side of the door?
Oh, well, when I'm not doing that, you can find me here on the network. Now that we have new Star Trek, Union Federation will be coming back. I am on our Discord server, as I said at the top, posting pictures of all the fun we're having, and on our Facebook group. So, Kristin, where can people find you when you are using your winter as a warm blanket to reset and re-energize?
That's the most Canadian thing, and I absolutely love it. Right now, you actually can't find me anywhere. I have
Just here.
Just here. And if you have my cell phone number, send me a text. Otherwise, I have cut myself off from social media, from the news, from everything. It's horrific. It's not good for your mental health. And I hate everything right now. So you can find me doing cross stitch in front of my television, probably watching old Star Trek with a cat.
Well.
So, Christos, where can people find you when you're not lurking around a doorway trying to hear what's going on inside the room?
Oh, never been accused of doing that. You can find me in the Discord server, on the Facebook BQN Collective, on Instagram at What's the T-Bev. Yeah, I think that sounds about right. And Kelvin, where can people find you when you're not inspecting other people's underwear? To find out what they've been up to.
When I'm not doing that, you can find me on the socials at Kelvin's Timeline, in the BQN Facebook group, where I love seeing everyone's posts. or you can come and shop at my shop on Redbubble / Kelvin's timeline. There's the plug.
How very Derek of you.
I know, terrible.
Well, you will never hear a commercial except Kelvin's Redbubble promo. Here on BQN. Now, if you'd like to help us keep all of our shows coming to you each week, you can become a patron on Patreon. For just $1 a month, you can watch the video version of this very podcast, or you can join our reaction shows, script readings, and enjoy our special patron-only back catalog of shows like It's Green and Amy's Math Moments. Visit patreon.com/BQN to sign up and get all the details.
If becoming a patron isn't your thing, you can still support the show by sharing posts on social media, talking about it with friends, or hitting the subscribe button on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts, and leaving us a star rating and written review. That helps others to find the show and build our little community of awesome listeners.
At this time, we really thank all of our patrons, and give a special shout out to our very own associate producer, JJ Seastrom. A special thanks to Graham Kelly for our opening and closing music, and to Mr. Kelvin for our artwork each and every week.
Thank you for listening.
We hope you'll join us
As we search out
All good things.